and good evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome to you all on today's live webinar on building psychological safety at the workplaces. We are truly excited to have you all join us today on this very important session because this isn't just another personal development session that we organize or on our AI or something. It's a conversation about trust, courage, and the kind of workplace where we people feel safe to bring their whole selves to work. Now, let us meet the expert who will be guiding us through this essential topic today. Hello, Mr. Anuj. Thank you for joining us for this session today.
Thanks, Aishay. Thank you.
Let me give you all a brief intro about Mr. Anuj Dhingra, who will be the expert for this phenomenal topic today. Mr. Anuj Dhingra is a president and head trainer at MKAC Analytics, TEDx speaker, and a seasoned business strategy consultant. He brings over 15 years of leadership and training experience across top banks like Kotak Mahindra, Citi, IndusInd, and AU Small Finance Bank. With an MBA in marketing and finance, Anuj is known for his dynamic presence and expertise in soft skills, emotional intelligence, leadership development, and BFSI training. His sessions are high impact, interactive, and deeply rooted in practical workplace realities. From corporate grooming to performance coaching, Anuj has transformed countless teams with his insight driven approach. Let us unpack the power of psychological safety and how it can elevate your team culture and organizational performance with him. Well, thank you, Anuj, for agreeing to do this webinar with us. And I believe that this is a very ongoing topic for today's corporate employees and the corporate culture.
Thanks, Ayushi, for such a nice introduction. And thanks, everyone. And I'll just brief you about myself. I'm the president for MKC Analytics. This is basically a learning and development company. And we are part of the MKC group. We are the statutory and central auditors for various banks in India for the last 53 years, and specifically the PSU banks, specifically an advisory to various banks and organizations there in India. So today's session is on psychological safety. So let's start with the session. Thanks for the introduction.
Sure, sir. So, without further ado, let's dive right into this session. And Mr. Anuj has a lot to share with you, I believe. So, Mr. Anuj, it's over to you now.
Thanks. I'm just sharing the screen.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
It's totally visible to us, sir. You can move ahead.
Yeah, I think so it's visible.
Yeah.
Right. So basically, we are here to discuss on the psychological safety nowadays. I believe everybody is aware of it. And in the corporate world, psychological safety in an organization is where team members feel safe to take risks, speak up, and be vulnerable without fear of punishment or humiliation. So I believe this is something which has been very, very important and courageous task. So those corporates, big time approaching and working on a very, very, very large scale on the people management side, and the HR leaders are really working big bang on the cultural change and transformation of the employees. Psychological safety is the most important ingredients going forward. So today, I got honor to speak on this subject, where we will be discussing on the 4 stages of psychological safety, how it goes about it, how we can create that safety in the organization, which can in turn increase the retention and get more and more good recruitments all across board. So if you start off, thanks Education Nest to giving us that opportunity to spoke about this very, very important topic. So this is now learning goals, which I'm putting in front of you. One, have to understand what psychological safety is and why it is important in today's workplace. First. Second, explore the 4 stages of psychological safety and how they create engagement and motivation in support of retention and recruitment. Third, we will be learning about different strategies to create psychological safety in your organization, including in virtual settings. Creating an action plan to apply the 4 stages of psychological safety in your role as a leader, which we'll be doing at the end of the session. So I'm just beginning with it. So if you talk about psychological safety, it's a belief, right? That's all. It's a belief that one will not be punished or humiliated for speaking up with the ideas, questions, concerns, or mistakes. That is the confidence which we have to give to the employees nowadays, so that they should not feel punished, they should not feel humiliated while speaking up with the ideas and questions and concerns, whatever they have come into their mind. This will in turn increase the efficiency and the effectiveness of the productivity of their performance. So this is a basic definition which we are talking about psychological safety here. So I believe retention and recruitment cost. My screen is visible to everyone. So the retention and recruitment cost of a breach of a psychological safety, it costs 50% of an employee's salary to replace them. It costs 33% of an employee's salary for their exit. 75% of the reasons for the employee turnover can be prevented because of it. And 16% decrease in the retention for employees who are not comfortable giving upward feedback. So basis this, the retention and the recruitment cost of the company is the most critical part for the HR leaders and the CHROs. So I believe breaching of psychological safety, we are incurring this huge cost, which will in turn unnecessarily build up the burden on the company capex. Benefits of the psychological safety for human services, it overall reduces the stress and mitigates the burnout. The overall reduction of the stress while the employee is presenting in front of their employer, कोई भी employee अपने employer के सामने present करता है, he will reduce his stress and finally mitigate all the burnouts during it. They will promote, it basically promotes equitable workplaces where everyone feels values and increased retention. So every person, every employee for me, I believe he should feel very important, right? He should be very important for the company. So once we incur our psychological safety measures in the company agenda, we will be able to promote equitable workplace for everyone, from down to the higher hierarchies at all the levels, where everyone feels values and increases retention. Indirectly, the people will love to work with the company and the organization. It is not about being nice. It is not a personality factor. It is not another word for trust. It is not an immunity from consequences. It is not enough for high performance. It is not lowering performance standards. It's all about being psychological safe in the organization, which in turn enhances their retention and confidence towards the organization. I believe this is something very critical factor nowadays going in the corporate world. During my visits to various corporates, I keep on knowing the retention ratios, the attrition is very high. And during this tenure, psychological safety is the measure which a leader has to be taken care, has to take it forward. So it is not about being nice. Don't have to be nice for that. It is not a personality factor. It is not another word for trust. I'm repeating it again. It's not immunity for consequences. It is not enough for high performances. It's not lowering performance standards. It's all about making them feel safe, good, and happy. And always a happy employee, a safe employee will always be a more productive for the company. So if you see the chart here, if you see the standards and the accountability, we have been converting. On the left side, you will see you see the psychological safety on the x-axis. On the y, you see the standards and the accountability. So you will see the lower the psychological safety it is, and the lower the standard accountability is there, the apathy, the employee will be in the apathy zone, right? He'll be more into apathy zone, and his confidence will be very low, right? Once he moves to a higher model, once the psychological safety go high, but his accountability and standards are low, he feel comfort. He get into the comfort zone. But when you will see he goes high on the side of standard accountability and on the psychological safety, he's low. Automatically his anxiety zone is high. He'll more anxiety, full anxiety, but deliverable part, he's very low on the performance side. But when you will be seeing the psychological safety is high in the organization and the accountability and standards are really high, the learning and the high performance zone will be the most critical part of the employee, and it will be on the higher learning and higher performance zone. Automatically his performance will be improved. He will be more into delivery mode. He will be more into effective mode to the organization, more profitable, more energetic, always able to learn what exactly going in the organization and performing 24/7. So learning and high performance zone is the most important part for the organization. This is how it goes about it. So this is something which is very important. I'll take good time on this presentation. I believe it's very much visible. These are the 4 stages which one should follow during the psychological safety measures. And I think so this is something which is very important for the leaders and the HR heads in the organization. First is the inclusion safety. The inclusion safety satisfy the basic human need to connect and belong. He feels the feelings of belongingness. He feels the feeling of the connect to his mentor, to his employer, to his boss. The basic human need to connect and belong will meet at this level. You feel safe to be yourself and are accepted for who you are, including your unique attributes and defining characteristics. So what are your characteristics are there? What are the attributes you are carrying? Every employee have a different attributes, have the different characteristics. They'll be acceptable to the organization and they will feel more included and more connected. And more on, they will put their heart on while working to the organization goals and the missions, whatever exactly they have desired. And their KRAs are regularly met on time. So the social exchange here is inclusion exchange for human status and the absence of harm. It's basic. This is the social exchange, right? Stage 2, if we talk about the learner safety is again a second stage which comes into the picture, where every employee, I believe every employee in the corporate is always want to learn and he want to grow and go for the next stage. So learner safety satisfy the basic human needs to learn and grow. You feel safe to engage in the learning process, asking questions, giving and receiving feedbacks, experimenting, and even making mistakes. You have to accept it. So he should be feeling in a learning process that he's learning again. And in this, leader has to promote. He should not be ignored on that. He should be encouraged to learn at every stage and process of his journey in the company as an employee. So asking questions, giving and receiving feedbacks is very important. You should not discourage your employees. You should always start with meetings, your official meetings, your VCs, that what exactly you want to have, what exactly you want to do different, so that the productivity of the organization grow, productivity of the department should grow, of our team should grow. It should only comes when we talk so discussions in the morning huddles. So stage 2 is very critical and very important for us. Stage 3, when we talk about stage 3, it's a contributor safety zone, where a contributor safety satisfies the basic human need to make a difference. He feels a satisfaction to contribute to the society, to contribute to the company. Every employee want to contribute to the company. Understand? He only want to have that contribution to be recognized by the employer. So you feel safe once you use skills, abilities to make a meaningful contribution. As all fingers are not equal, I believe every employee have their different attributes, and we should encourage his skills and abilities so he can contribute to the growth of the organization, of the respective growth of their departments, and the performance which really require at his or her KRA end. So I believe you feel safe to use your skills, abilities to make a meaningful contribution all together. This is very important stage where as an employer, as a leader, as a HR heads, we should take care of it. Social exchange here is the autonomy and the accountability in exchange for results, which will come into the picture. Stage 4. I think so this is the most important out of all the 4 stages, which is challenger safety. Always an employee feel that he should be challenged, or he want to challenge the some of the employees or maybe his bosses in some way he want to prove himself, right? So challenger safety satisfy the basic human needs to make things better. You feel safe to speak and challenge the status quo when you think there's an opportunity to change and improve. Every time the organization goals are not okay, right? And employees should get that feedback. They should have that freedom to understand and to challenge the status quo of that particular department goals and missions, where his inputs should be taken very importantly. He should be feeling psychological safe, important in the organization during this stage, and he feel very excited to contribute new ventures and new roles and excitements built here. So here I want to add, every day, if we go to the office, if we go to the organization, if we feel excited to do every new thing in a day, we are more effective, we are more efficient. And equivalently, if we talk about negative things about the that the employee don't have to contribute on the challenges safety side, automatically his ability, his capability, his inherent quality will be depleted and will not come up with the good ideas in the organization. And I believe if we encourage such ideas by the employees, automatically the growth of the organization will be aligned with the growth of the employee. So thinking about the people, being a people manager, being a HR head, I believe challenging safety is the most important where we should encourage in all the roles. During any events, during any meetings, we should do this. It will make a drastic change in improvement and effectiveness of the employees. So this is something which is very important. Be the cultural architect for your workplace. You have to be a cultural architect, being a manager, being a super manager, leader, president, group head. You have to be a cultural architect for your workplace. A pattern of thought or a behavior in a person is a habit. एक pattern अगर हम thought की बात करेंगे, it's a habit, right? A pattern of thought or behavior in a team, it comes into a norm. It moves into a norm. वो एक norm बन जाता है. जब वो team का pattern बन जाता है, it goes into a norm. So when a leader create a cultural architect, he's a cultural architect of the workplace. Automatically, it creates a thought or behavior in a person as a habit, and that habit turn into a norm when the behavior come into the team mode, and the entire resilience come into the picture. They become more agile. They are more able to deal with situations where and now more like complex ecological landscape people require it to manage. A collection of norms, when you collect all the norms in an organization, it becomes a culture. So culture don't create overnight, I believe. It started with the habit. When the habit becomes a norm and the norm becomes a culture, it starts with a single human being who's changed the habit of the entire organization. It can start with the topmost leader of the organization. So the cultural architect, you have to be a cultural architect of your workplace. Being you are a HR head, being you are a business head, being you are the head for your department. You should make sure that if you start positioning yourself as a cultural architect, ultimately your employees, your team will work according to that same norms. A single most important factor in cultural formation is the modeling behavior of the leader. He should be the role model for the entire team, for the entire organization. He should be applauded, he should be praised at all the levels. Single most important factor in the cultural formation can bring the psychological safety at all the ends. And the organization which having the highest psychological safety, they have the highest retention ratios. There is no attrition basically. And they are very productive and very honest. So this is something which is very critical I want to discuss with you. So if we talk about 12 ways to assess the psychological safety of a virtual meeting. So when you see the VC is having, the conference call is having nowadays, in a more technological world where AI, generative AI, and various things are coming. So entire world is connected through systems, through softwares. So entire way of meetings has been changed. It has gone into the mode of virtual meetings. There are 12 different ways to assess the psychological safety of a virtual meetings. How you can assess that the company psychological safety measures need to be taken or not, and how the movement of the body language of the employees during that call. So cameras is very critical where you're able to see the employees' movements, whether they are listening to you or not, whether they are attentive to you or not, whether they are not participating during the VCs or not. If they are silent, they are mum, that means they are lost. They are not having their psychological safety in the organization. They don't want to participate. They don't want to listen to you. And anytime you will see 90% of the meetings when you were seeing people not participating, people are not replying even. They're not putting any questions, whatever we are discussing on that. So this is how where we have to take measures to understand how we can get it corrected. Personal check-ins. Keep on checking people. Interactive sessions. Keep on discussing, keep on having interactions with the employees during VCs. I believe if there are 100 employees or there are 50 employees, you should name them. You should name them every time in the con call or in the VC so that they can be feel more important, and you can check them whether they are in the VC or not. Formality. Obviously, formality is there. People are formal. Maybe some people are more open, informal duty sessions, but you have to make sure the decorum should be maintained, which can access the psychological safety of the organization. Agenda and flexibility. You should have a very clear agenda before setting it up. You should be very flexible enough to understand, because I believe all children are not equal, right? You have to handle everyone with their own hearts. And when you connect their hearts, giving them more psychological safety feelings, they will feel flexible, they'll be more answerable to your queries, they'll be more productive, and finally your goals and vision and mission will be achieved very soon. Tell to ask ratio. This is very important in the organization. You have to regularly understand this ratio, that how much time you're asking or how much time you're telling to the employees. Telling is something you are just one-sided approaching them, a monologue session. Asking, where you are making and listening properly to the employees, you're making them more and more understandable. You're making them more feeling they're respectful in the organization, and they are equally replying to all queries, whatever you are having. So I believe tell to ask ratio will give a more clarity about psychological safety nowadays in the corporate world. Facial expressions and vocal characteristics is very important. कभी आपको smile, charming people will be seeing them, and your employee who are more happy, more charming, is most productive and more efficient in the organization. I can vouch on that. And people who are very less expressive, facing, but they are just passing their time. They just want to have. This is just a meeting which they are attending. Their vocal characteristics, their confidence in their voice, their energy in their mind, their energy in their discussions will show how psychological safe they are feeling during these virtual meetings. Humor. You have to be humor. You have to create jokes. You have to give practical examples so that they should feel. You should be lower while talking to them. Tell heart to heart meeting with them. Discuss about your own experience, your own strategies, your own failures. Because I believe, and there I will again repeat, that success is the most worst teacher, is the most worst teacher nowadays. Failure is the best teacher, I believe. Failure is the best teacher, because every time one has to get fail in somewhere or the other, so that he can understand that during this failure, what is the importance of to be a successful man. I can't pass out my success to my team. I can't pass out my success to my kids. But I can make all learnings during my failure. I can just teach to them, so that whenever they will fail, they'll not feel disheartened. They can learn a lot more things out of it, and they can feel more successful in the going forward. So I believe scared. One should be scared of failure. We should not be having a casual attitude कि यार मेरे साथ तो हो गया, उसके साथ भी हो सकता है, उसके साथ भी ये चीज हुई है, तो क्या फर्क पड़ता है. No, we have to be scared of failure. We have to be scared of failure. More we are scared of failure, we will be away from it, and more we are successful in the life. So I believe I'm very small to discuss all these things. So distribution of participation. Again, we have to ensure the participation should be properly distributed all across the levels. We should understand the senior leadership team. We should understand the junior leadership team. We should understand the managers. We should understand the sales personnel. We should understand the admin staff. Everybody is important, right? Everybody is important in the organization to contribute. So we have to distribute in a proper way, and we should give respect in all together, so that every employee should feel psychological safe in the organization. Acknowledgement and recognition. I believe this is the one of the most important, where your kid, your kid yourself will not listen to you nowadays. Till time you'll not acknowledge him, till time you'd never recognize him. So Gen Z today, you will understand, more acknowledgements, more recognitions give more productivities, more excitements, more effectiveness, more results, and this creates psychological safety in the organization. So acknowledgement, recognition has to be there at every stage of the work culture. Challenge and dissentment. Challenge. Always, I believe employees feel to be challenged in all together. We should ask whether you can do this role or no, whether you can go for next role or no. So becoming a next level growth, you should get into that role first. I believe to become a next role, to be eligible for the next role, you should challenge that employee to perform at that role first, to handle that team first, so that he can get that confidence inbuilt in that organization. This is how he feel more psychological safe, and this will give more contribution to the society, to the organization as well. Meeting size. You have to be very, very, very restricted. You have to ensure that the people, number of meeting people should be equivalent to the people who you can manage during the sessions. You can't manage 1,000 people in a virtual call. You can't manage 500 people in a virtual call. Definitely, you have to have a segmented approach to make people learn, so that everybody is a child, a special child who can understand, who can contribute, who can acknowledge, who can recognize during the virtual meetings, and overall perform during the any sort of events, any sort of their performance appraisals. He can give a good briefing, and he can give good feedbacks to you. What steps and actions can you take to create more psychological safety in your workplace? I believe this is a very, very important question, which I want everybody. I am asking this question to each and everybody who's there on the call, who is listening to me. What steps and what actions can you take to create more psychological safety in your workplace? So in this, I want you to do an activity where you yourself will be the judge, and you can pin down these points on a point of paper, and you can do any with your mentor. You can discuss in the organization. You can discuss with your family, with your parents, what steps and action we should take to create more psychological safety in your workplace. I believe sometimes the answer is imbibed in the questions itself. It is embedded in the question itself. So once you ask this question to yourself, automatically you will come to know that what are exactly you're doing right, what are you exactly you're doing wrong in the organization. And for this, I believe you should create small groups, discussions, and short debriefs. During group discussions, debriefs, we'll come to know new ideas are there. We come with a beautiful ideas. I believe during our group discussions, we come new ideas, we get good challengers, we get good roles. Sometimes you'll see in the organization the person who is least, who's mum, who's silent, but he carry that skill, but nobody's actually understanding his skill, basically, because he's never part of any such discussions. He's never part of any such subjects during the organization meet. I feel he get that skills, he carry that skills, but we have not given any opportunity to him to speak about it. So that's something which is very, very important for the psychological safety nowadays. So if I talk about small groups and discussions, here I can give something brief on it. I can give some steps and actions which I think so we should take, create more psychological safety in your workplace. One, leadership behavior. I believe model vulnerability. Share your own mistakes and learnings openly. You should share your own mistakes and learnings. We all are not perfect, right? We all are not perfect. Even everybody can make anybody can make any mistake. So we should share our own mistakes and learnings openly before coming with the people, right? With the employees. Actively listening them. Show genuine interest in people's thoughts without interrupting or dismissing. You have to learn and listen to them. You have to listen to your employees properly. One-on-one listening is very, very important. Show genuine interest in people's thoughts, and that will create more psychological safe environment in the organization. Second is the team norms and culture. You have to set clear expectations. Clarity that caution, dissent, and new ideas are not only welcome, but they are expected. We're not welcoming any new ideas, but it has to be expected. It's no longer that's a choice. It's a mandatory thing. You have to give new ideas to us. Reward speaking up. Publicly appreciate when someone offers constructive feedback or raise a concern. Don't undermine him. Appreciate the constructive feedback or raise a concern. Whoever he raise a concern in the organization or give a constructive feedback, put him in a more important dilemma. Make him more feel more important to him. I believe that's very important for him. So reward. Okay, zero tolerance for ridicule. There should be zero tolerance. Act swiftly against the mocking, shaming, or dismissive behavior of the employees. If anybody is mocking, shaming about it, dismissive, you have to take actions, right? There should be zero tolerance for him because he's creating a negative environment in the organization, which will destroy the entire feeling psychological safety, which is the most critical part of the organization. It's been avoided during that phase. Third is feedback mechanisms. Feedback can be taken in any forms, I believe. Ask for feedback regularly. Leaders should solicit leader feedback on decisions and behaviors every time. Use anonymous channels, offer sales, safe venues, surveys you can do, digital forms, you can basically raise sensitive concerns for that, and you can basically put on a feedback note that what exactly, and they should not put their names in front of it so that you can't judge, you can't do a judgment for that particular employee, right? So inclusive practices encourage equal participation, use round robin check-ins, or designate speaking turns in a meeting. Never feel never nowadays. I'll recently will give you a live example. In Kerala, you will see the colleges. One of these schools have changed the entire structure of their teaching basically. So now there are no more backbenchers. Going forward, you'll be seeing this article is going hay and why in all the newspapers that there's no backbenchers in these schools because their sitting arrangement has been changed. Every child is important and he should sit on the front desk. So once you will make every employee to sit on the front desk and contribute to the company decisions and to their department profitability, they'll automatically be productive to you, and your retention ratio will be very high, very high. And believe me, that will create the most important psychological safety measures in the organization. So encourage equal participation, use round robin check-ins, designate speaking turns for everyone. Everybody should speak. Everybody should get the opportunity to speak, right? I don't want any single person to speak, and that speaker is only speaking in front of everyone. Every meeting, he's coming and speaking. Give the opportunity to speak everyone so that they can put their heart out during the discussions. Acknowledge all voices. Summarize and validate input from quieter to the junior members. The most quieter and junior members should feel important. They should give in importance. They should be acknowledged, and all the voices should be recognized. Use diverse examples. Reflect multiple perspectives in languages, stories, decisions. Give them the live examples, which is going nowadays. Give them the real life stories so that they can feel, they can live with that story. And I believe when you give them the examples, they'll more attentive to listen to you. And giving your personal examples will make more idle for you. They will create more big mentor to you. So in my previous organizations, there are a lot more mentors I've learned from a lot more senior people. That's why I'm able to give such trainings to people. So I believe had to be a man manager. Have a man manager. Once you create that team, right, promoting everybody in the organization will make your level of happiness to that you can't even think of. Sometimes we don't discuss to our juniors. We don't share our knowledge levels. There's a concept known as knowledge transfers at the very senior levels, right? At the CXO, CEO levels, where I think so when the senior management team change, automatically the new team is there. So the KT is very important there at that time. It requires entire workflow analytics and advisory to understand how that knowledge transfer can happen. And that knowledge transfer should be happening in such a aligned way that it could create a psychological safety environment at the people who are working at the down levels. When senior management changes, the psychological safety of the employee should be maintained high. He should be understanding that without team, the leader is nothing. Without people, the leader is nothing. So going forward, these discussions and short debriefs can actually enhance the social and society and to the workplace, where the entire psychological safety can basically a part of it. And you can enhance it and enhance the productivity of the employees. Recap of the learning goals, which we have gone through the presentation. Understanding what psychological safety is and why it is important in today's workplace. We have clearly understand during my very short session, I've shared my little bit of experience. I've a little bit of examples so that you can understand that nowadays psychological safety is becoming an integral part of the organization. At all the levels, you require these measures to be happen. And emotional intelligence, which is the most important critical way to handle the team. So why it is important, you will see going forward, because the retention and recruitment should be taken care of. I believe 50% of the work done with the 50% of the right type of hiring happens in the organization. And remaining 50% happens when you give that psychological safety to the organization staff. Automatically, the performance roots reach to the 10x level, and you will see the company is moving, growing at a very higher and a large pace without any attrition. So we have explored the four stages of psychological safety and how they create engagement and motivation in support of retention and recruitment. So this is how these four stages of psychological safety and how they create engagement and motivation in support of retention and recruitment, which happens in a day-to-day world. So we learned here, learn about different strategies to create psychological safety in your organization, including in virtual settings. So both physical and online meetings, you have to learn about different strategies to build it up, to create psychological safety environment in the organization, and in turn, increase the productivity of the employees again and again, which is most important. Create an action plan. I really want every audience who's listening to me, just put an hands on your heart, and you guys have to make an action plan for this. You have to make an action plan for this to apply the four stages of psychological safety in your role as a leader. You should understand that all these four stages, I'm repeating it again, this is inclusion safety stage, learner safety stage, contributor safety stage, and challenger safety stage. All these stages to be a part and parcel of your day-to-day routine. Let's create these four pyramids in an organizational structure at all the levels. Let's create this workflow analytics you can imbibe in your structure, in your organization structure, maybe in an HR structure, maybe in a business role structure, where everybody should follow these four stages to create a more psychological safety environment in the organization. I believe going forward, we all will take a um, will promise to each other, whether we are a HR head, whether we are a senior business head, whether we are a leader, that we have to make feel people important and make them more psychologically safe. So with this, I'm almost over with my session. So I really appreciate all the time and patience. Everyone was there, and I was very excited to understand, to learn what exactly we all have done through this. So it's a great opportunity for me to have such a nice audience and such a nice host who's given me this opportunity to speak to the entire people.
Thank you, Mr. Anand. That was a very nice, informative, and a very relatable session, I believe, to my audiences as well. I would request you to stop sharing your screen so that we can move ahead with the question answers from our audiences. Okay, so we have few questions from my audiences who have been associating with us from the beginning. So let me start with the first question. Say, how do I
Yeah.
know if my team currently lacks psychological safety?
Okay. So currently, if your team lacks psychological safety, there are various measures, right? We have seen one of our slide. I mentioned it very clearly. The body language, the face expressions, the communications, their verbal expressions, their body languages, their non-participations, they will start becoming mum. They start becoming lost in the meetings. They will not able to learn. They will not able to. They don't want even to learn. Basically, they don't want to even understand what exactly you want to say because they have created negativity in their mind, and they are feeling psychological most insecure in the organization. So automatically, the way they will communicate to you, the way they will talk to you, the way their body language, body gestures, verbal gestures, non-verbal gestures, you will able to see you're losing your respect in front of them. So respect is something which is always earned, ma'am. It's always earned. You can't ask anybody to respect me. It can only be happen when you be a good mentor. It does not mind whether you're working in an organization. I still remember my first mentor where I joined a band and he was my mentor. He promoted me as a branch manager. So I still respect him. I still appreciate him because he understands my vibes. He has given me that psychological safety feeling in the organization. where he have encouraged me to come with the good ideas, with more energies and more alignment. So I really acknowledge that. And similarly, as a good mentor, these signals you are able to understand. Your body language, in fact, when you are talking to your own seniors and you're not you are disagreed with various facts and you are feeling psychologically unsafe in the organization, you're not able to speak to them properly. You will oftenly take offs. You will not come to the office early. You will start misbehaving with the people. Your peer groups will be complaining about your behaviors, and automatically you will be non-participative. You will not able to participate. You will not able to understand what exactly your peer group is doing, and you will avoid him. These are the symptoms for a non-safe or most unsafe organization.
All
I
right.
hope I've answered your question, ma'am.
Okay. We'll take another question. It says, "What do I do?" There's someone asking that they have reported the bullying or teasing at their workplace, but they have received backlash. What should they do in this situation?
So I believe we already understand zero tolerance concept, right? I believe employees are the most important part of the organization. Without human managing human, without managing employees is the toughest part. You can do your clerical work, you can do your presentations, you can use your chat GPTs, you can do your presentations, you can work with various softwares, you can work on because of monotony process, right? But whenever you are dealing with the employees, whenever you're dealing with the human community, managing them is the most critical and the most difficult task, I believe. Again, you have to start your questions like that. You have to learn that they should feel important. You have to ask them what different I should do so that you should be happy. What different I should do so that the organization should be growing, the department should be growing. So never react to them. Never react to them. Make them understand. Have a more and more heart-to-heart discussion. These type of negative energies only come when we started misbehaving with them. Understand, at some meetings, some organization meetings, we talk to him or her in such a bad way that they are bullying, they are basically spreading negative environment in the organization. So as a leader, first of all, we have to correct ourselves. We have to learn how to understand him. We should understand, we should give space to him. We should understand what are his requirements. Sometimes we shout on the organization employees. We don't understand their family problem. Maybe he's having some family problems. Maybe he's having some disease in his family. Maybe his parents are not supportive. And we are shouting on him that tusse nahi hoga, you are not able to do the work. You're a non-performer. These create negative vibes in the person, right? And automatically he feel distracted. Suddenly he disalign and he suddenly go into a negative mode. And your performance and your psychological safety is on stake there. So I believe you should first of all change yourself because something has bad happened to that employee, which has created that situation for you. And if it does not happen, then you should follow zero tolerance because sometimes you have to take strict actions for them so that they should not repeat because they can't make mockery of any other employee in the organization. I hope
Okay.
I've answered this question, Mike.
I I have a question in this question. Like, if we consider
Yeah,
this in the sense of an employee, that if somebody's manager or co-colleagues or co-partner or seniors, anybody who is bullying them, as in most of the organizations you have to be good at English, but there are few people who are coming for the technical background, but their vocabulary or their accent or their English is not something up to the mark, you I would say, according to the corporate culture.
yeah,
So in
yeah.
that
Yeah.
perspective they receive a lot of backlash or they get teased or bullied. So if someone is complaining regarding that and they still receive backlash, what do you think what should be the policies by the HR or the organization in this case?
I think so. First, measure his immediate manager should discuss with him, right? He should have a clear understanding, one-on-one discussion with him, and understand the root cause behind it. Now, whether the situation is something which is different, whether he's carrying something in his heart or something the family, some issues are there, so that his immediate boss can only understand him very well. So I believe first level check should happen with the manager itself. where you can able to identify the main problematic area, and you can able to give more positive, more frequent solutions to to that. Maybe you can create, you can wipe off that situation at that level only. 90% organization people leave the organization because of their bosses, and these all mishaps happen because of the immediate supervisors. I believe because there is no emotional connect is being created to the employee. And in such scenarios, it can be happen in both the ways. Maybe employee is over smart and he's trying to create that because he have multiple options with him. So let him go. Don't stop an employee who is going, let him go. I don't feel that we should make him, and we should make him very correct, because our hiring should be very strong at the initial stages. That's why I was talking that proper hiring will make you 50% of work done, and remaining 50% will be done by your psychological safety measures given to the employee. So understanding him very well, wipe off him. If he's not good, if he's something genuine problem is there, takes corrective actions, take HR into loop, and take next level understanding, and you can take the actions. But something which where his internal creativity is hampering because of the behaviors of the employers, and something is going in the organization which is giving him negative vibes, or you are not able to understand that there's something wrong in the organization, right? So the psychological, entire ecological system, psychological balance system is not good in the organization. But this is not happening in that particular department. It must be happening in other departments also. So there are various signs and symptoms where you can able to understand. So I can't give this answer in one liner, but definitely there are various ways and there are various situations where you have to answer, where you have to react, and where you have to give the solution to the problem. Yeah.
Okay, let us take the next question. It says, I feel shy or embarrassing to discuss psychological safety or issues at workplace. How do I overcome this?
So this is an employee, right?
Yeah.
So, right. So, one, you have to be open, right? If you have shy, it's okay. Somebody in the organization, you should discuss about it, right? And there's a whistleblower policy also in the organization where you can actually tell to your management that what exactly going around at the ground levels. So if you feel shy, if you feel embarrassed, you're making wrong to yourself, because sometime or someday in any other organization, it will be hampering big time to your success, to your growth, to your opportunities. So you have to come out of it. This is a comfort zone you are into. You have to come out of that zone. You have to identify in the organization to whom I have to speak, whom I can actually discuss to the seniors. And once you discuss with him, you feel good. And once you'll see, which I've told you earlier also, Ayushi, in the sessions, the complete architectural, cultural aspect of the organization, the psychological safety, has to be drafted by the leader itself. So the entire architect of the psychological system, of the psychological balance and safety, is to be created by the leader in the organization. And if he is encouraging feedbacks, and if he's understanding you very well and taking inputs from various employees in the organization, he will able to have more better conclusions and coming to more better solutions to you, because they want to build an organization where people should be properly taken care of and to be retained and highly promoted in the organization. So I believe you should not be shy. You should be you should be very open. You should discuss at all the levels where it's important. It's considered where the measure we talk about the psychological safety, where it comes on the part of psychological safety. You should not even shy about it. So this is, I believe, I've answered your question, ma'am.
Okay. If there's another question, it says, what if my organization doesn't support open communication? Can I still create psychological safety within my team?
It's a humorous answer. Shift to another organization.
Well, I guess you
so
got your answer.
So see, if that organization is just creating the negativity into you, is not building your positivity, and they are not even supporting into you, then move on, right? There are multiple organizations working for you where you will be taking good care of yourself and where you're getting grown, right? Creating the entire structure should be created from the leaders, right? So nobody, I don't feel the organization don't want this psychological safety, right? I'm totally against it. Maybe that communication is not going to that levels. It has been stop in between by some managerial people, maybe. But I believe every every organization heads, nobody wants to have his employees unhappy. Every time you see any senior person coming in the organization, any chairman, any managing director of the company or an organization, whenever they'll come, they'll be very humble. They'll be very grounded. They'll talk to one to one. They will be very, very good of heart, big of hearts. They'll never talk about it. They'll never talk about negative things. They all talk and encourage yourself. So I believe that is the hierarchy, right? It comes in between the people. Managing lakhs of people. In our organization, there are 2 lakhs people, right? You have the multiple managers above there. So everybody is not same, right? So you either you have that guts to go forward and communicate to the right people, or if you don't have guts, you are shy, you don't want to understand, and the organization don't want to understand you. Move on. I hope I've answered your
Okay,
question.
of course. Let us take another question. It says, and I guess it is a very good question that in spite of taking so much in granted for psychological safety that we do not focus on accountability. And so this question says that is it possible to overdo psychological safety and end up with a team that avoids accountability?
No, I've given that 4 zones, right? Have you seen that 4 zones? More accountability and lesser psychological safety will be landed to an anxiety mode. आप anxiety mode में रहोगे डरे डरे से. You will not able to perform because your accountability is high, but your psychological safety is less. You are given a power to do this. You are given the organization rules and responsibilities, but your safety is very low side. You know that he will not. The organization will not accept this psychological change. The entire change is not accepted by the organization. So you will be more into anxiety mode, right? You will not into delivery mode. Higher the psychological balance, higher the accountability, the better leader you are, the better environment, the better retention, the better recruitment will happen in the organization. So you will be in anxiety mode, ma'am. So for that, you have to move on to that level. So you have to ensure that balance should be maintained.
Okay. We have another question. It says, how can how can an organizations build psychological safety after a breach?
Very important question, ma'am, and I really appreciate the question is really appreciable. So I think so. This question is something rebuilding requires transparency. I have a line with me. Rebuilding requires transparency, open dialects, accountability from the leaders, and a clear commitment to change. So in this line, you get the answer, ma'am. So we'll talk about the organization where you rebuild psychological safety after a breach, such as a public failure, anything like that, right? In that case, rebuilding requires a guts, a transparency. You have to be transparent to each and every stakeholder, to each and every employee of the organization. And I believe every employee is a stakeholder of the organization. You have to be transparent. It should be pasted that these are the changes, amendments happen in the organization structure, and completely the roles has been changed. Nowadays, you will see earlier they are the HR heads, now they are the chief people officer, chief emotional intelligence officer. The designations have been changed. The structure has been changed. The complete psyche of today's world, the organizational roles has been changed. Traditional roles has been wiped off. So you have to be transparent. You have to be open for the sustainable ecosystem to be created in the organization. A complete sustainable, I believe, sustainable psychological safety ecosystem can only be created after the breach. Once you are transparent, once you are honest, and once you feel more familiar, talk to your employees heart to heart to understand them very well so that they can contribute at all levels. And I believe as a leader, it's a clear commitment to change. And from a journey to failure to a success, a journey from failure to success is the best journey which I want people should see. फेल होके जो सक्सेस का मजा है ना मैम वो नहीं है आपको वैसे. So as a journey from a failure to a success, So I believe once in a lifetime, you should be fair. You should be a failure. You should be fair. I believe that will make more learning to you because you can face that all the repercussions in such scenarios. And that's the thing I think I've answered your question here.
Okay, there is another question. It says, what are the top psychological strategies for corporates?
I believe I've already discussed this in one of my presentations. And for this, you have to have another session for us. It's a long session. And there's a huge list of strategies, right? We can have one-on-one strategy discussion also. So strategy starts from the leadership. I told you one, leadership behavior is the first strategy. Second, the team norms and culture, which will be created by each and every individual. Feedback mechanisms. You have to have multiple feedback mechanisms through various exit forms, various sheets, Google sheet, feedback sheets during trainings, learning and development programs in the organization. You should have regular learning and development programs. You should understand basically that what is happening right in the organization, what is happening wrong in the organization, what is happening wrong in that particular department. Similarly, it goes. Sometimes we are not able to understand because we are not having that knowledge. So training and knowledge will make it more easier for us. So feedback mechanism is the most important critical for us. Inclusive practices. We have to have more and more inclusive practices to understand the psychological safety measures, how we can enhance it, how we can put into a self-sustainable ecosystem in the organization, how we can build it in going forward in the complex ecological landscape nowadays, because there are a lot more fintechs are coming, big organizations are coming, and more complex structures are there. So you will see more we are open to the change, more comfortable we are. And we have to timely change ourselves. So financial inclusions, mental inclusions, inclusive practices should be adopted. We should not depend on the traditional practices.
Okay.
Learning focus environment. Last, learning focus environment. That environment where you have been working, it should be a learning focus environment where you have to learn every day. Understand the employee feels most happy when he gets some new learning every day. At one role, it become a complete monologue, right? Every day doing the same task. So that's why the rotation should keep on happening in the organization. The role should keep on getting changed. And whatever he is good into that, what are his what are his expertise? He should give that opportunity to grow in that organization. So that will give more and more positivity, more and more efficiency, and again, a more and more rich experience to the successful organization where you will feel the changes happens from the people itself. So the human management is the most important critical way to manage them. So creating their psychological, understanding their psychological balance, making them feeling safe, emotionally understand them, creating that balance between the emotional connect with the employees will understand and will make the organization more on the psychological safety side and successful in all the cases.
Okay,
Yeah, man.
so I'll take one statement of yours, as Mr. Anuj also discussed, that learning is one of the important things for the employees who are already part of an organization or corporate or even students and everyone. Learning is, of course, an important aspect of everybody's life, and that is why the organizations are focusing more and more now on corporate trainings. No matter you enter like an IT person, but you will go out of the organization improving your soft skills, your capacity building, learning development strategies, training
Yeah.
programs. All are these organized by organizations, whether it big or small organization, it doesn't matter. But a lot of corporate trainings are being focused on now by the HR or the learning and development sections. And that is why also we also bring a lot of webinars on different these behavioral topics or IT topics or AI topics, so that we can contribute to the learning uh, platform of any employee. So thank you for that answer, sir. And I'll take the another question.
Appreciate. Yeah.
It says, how do I respectfully challenge my manager's opinion without risking at my position?
Now this is the art of boss management, I believe.
Okay.
So art of boss management. So sometimes you have to convey him on the right time, right? Right time. It is very important to give that gestures, right? You feel that he's wrong. So you feel that he's wrong at some way. But the communication when happens, it happens in a very wrong way. Sometimes people get excited and they suddenly speak in a group of people, a group of podium. They start putting these negative things in the front of the senior management. It gives a very wrong impression, right? I believe these meetings should happen in closed doors. They should understand. And in spite, it goes from leaders to the down to the team also. No leader should actually neglect or say or use any abusive languages during the team meetings, on during virtual meetings. This is very important. If you will hurt somebody emotions, if you will hurt their psychological and you will make him more unsafe, he will not perform. He will only talk about negative things. And that's here the come the things, right? So better timings, manage your boss well during events, during parties, convey him lightly, softly. So उस दिन आपने मुझे बताया था ये, and you told me, but I totally disrespect to that. I feel this is something which we should correct in the organization. So the way you have to create, you have to just put him into his knowledge. That is an art, basically. That is an art. And you have to understand that art. Because sometimes you have to be, and your position is also safe in that way. You are not being told to ask to lead the organization because of it. And understand, 99%, a good leader, a good leader will always appreciate these negative feedbacks. He'll never take it on his heart. He'll always appreciate. But that meeting should be having a closed door meetings where you should put your heart out. You should tell him that this is the problem I'm facing. And you can discuss with him. Discussions से मैम काफी चीजें ठीक होती हैं. बड़े से बड़ा war ठीक हो जाता है. You can discuss. It's the only verbal thing which creates differences. I believe if you'll discuss the problems, it will have a solution. And every problem has a solution for it.
Well,
I,
thank you so much, Mr. Anuj. I believe with this question, we have come to the end of our session. And I know
yeah,
you have a lot of questions, and we couldn't answer a few of them because of the time constraints. You can still drop your questions in the comment box, and Mr. Anuj or my team will reach back to you. You can also associate with Mr. Anuj through his LinkedIn. He is on LinkedIn. And again, sir, thank you so much for this relatable and powerful session. And I'm sure we are all walking away today with a deeper understanding of what it really means to create a safe space at work and the role each one of us plays in it. So,
thank you.
uh,
And I want to add at the end,
of
thanks,
course.
Ayushi, for such a nice host, right? Um, Going forward, we will be developing a course of stress management and psychological safety measures on the senior government podiums also, on CM Seva schools and colleges also. So we are into talking to the departments, and where this has to happen not with the people, but at all levels of the government departments in the and at all the districts in India. So we are working on that proposition as well. So thanks for such a nice host, ma'am, and thanks to each and every audience. One last message: kindly change yourself and understand yourself first before pointing out anybody else. You should understand yourself first and make that changes first into you. And then you can feel that the entire world will change for you. Thanks, man.
Wow. Thank you, sir. And I'm wishing you all the luck with your current and upcoming interviews and the proposals with the government. And to my lovely
Sure.
audiences, thank you so much for being such an engaging audience. And thank you for joining us today in this webinar. You know, we meet each week for different webinars on different topics. So don't forget to subscribe our channel so that you can get updates on our upcoming webinars and different training programs that we organize pan India, and most importantly, put what you have learned into action. And let us make our workplaces not just productive but human as well. I, Ayushi Mishra, will meet you again in the next webinar. Until then, take care of yourself and just what I've told right now. Be not just be productive but human as well, and support each other and live in this environment very peacefully, and learn at each aspect of our lives. Thank you again, and I'll meet you again in the next webinar. Have a great day.